fans, New Mexico and Nevada, and a whole lot on the line. Steve Alford looking for his 700th career victory as a head coach. The Lobos going into Reno, 1.5-point underdogs. You're like, wait, hold up. Yes, that is the case right now. The Lobos, the team that is 15-3 in the Mountain West Conference, 23-6 overall, 1.5-point underdogs. But it's a quad one opportunity tonight because Nevada 71st in the net rankings. How do you feel about Nevada? They are incredibly disappointed with their season being 16-13 overall, 8-10 in Mountain West play. But this whole down Mountain West Conference, well, all right, maybe it's not as good as last year where you're getting 6 teams into the NCAA tournament. The rankings are still in a spot to where you can earn yourself not a bad win at all. A Q1 opportunity tonight, but of course it would be a devastating loss to this point in the season. Road games are tough, but you're a conference champion. You have confidence in yourself getting the NCAA tournament. This has to be the Lobos game tonight. So how do they get it done? What do they need to do? We'll take your thoughts all morning long. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning. Also scheduled to talk with Kenny Thomas coming up at 9 a.m. Lobos bounce back performance against Air Force, but locking in this last week, knowing what they can achieve. And that's the first goal. It is a Mountain West regular season title. That's the first achievable goal for any team, is a regular season conference championship. When you get to your conference tournament, of course, get that automatic big, and then get into the NCAA tournament. We got a lot to do today just revolving around this game. We break down this contest. How you feel about the Lobos actually being a slight dog on the road in Reno. Brackets are being updated every day. Jerry Palm updating his brackets. And one of the things I want to dive into this morning is the Lobos ceiling versus all the teams that they're around. Because right now the Lobos in Jerry's updated bracket, a 9 seed. So who are the 9s? Who are the 8s? Who are the 7s? Who are the 10s? And then you have to potentially look at the 11s. In this case, some of the last 4 in are on that 11 line, including a team like Boise State. But 4 Mountain West teams are sniffing the NCAA tournament right now. And that is not talking about the kind of chaos that Colorado State could cause, the fact that they're 14-4 and they're going, hey, why not us? Why not a share of the Mountain West regular season championship go into Las Vegas next week with the chance to upset the apple cart in terms of a dream scenario for the Mountain West Conference, which is having 4 teams sniffing the NCAA tournament in a quote-unquote down year. The conference isn't as good as it was last year. Okay, it's not 6. So you got 4 teams right there, 5 teams that could go into Vegas and convince themselves they can be conference champions. It's not too bad for the Mountain West Conference. JJ Buck, joined by Zay this morning. You're in it now, man. You're living it. You know what Lobo basketball is all about. You get to this point in the season, chance to at least clinch a share of regular season conference championship. The Lobos are not going to be worse than a number 2 seed in the tournament in Las Vegas. However, it's that first step. It's that regular season championship. And I know everyone's hyper-focused on the NCAA tournament. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
March Madness. But to get there, this is one of the steps along the way. If you win a regular season conference championship, you probably have a pretty darn good resume. And it's still a pretty darn good feeling as a player anytime you get to call yourself a champion.
Yeah, so you help me out. So looking at the way the rankings are right now in the Mountain West Conference, if the Lobos say, they were to get the 1 seed versus the 2 seed, is the team that they would face first round, is there, is it one of those unique situations where it's like, okay, well, if they're actually the 2 seed, they have a more favorable matchup, or is it extremely important that they get this 1 seed if they want to win the tournament?
So that's a good question, because it's not necessarily extremely important if they want to win the tournament. I think it's just extremely important to cap off what you've done.
Yes.
To put yourself into this position to be 15-3 in Mountain West play, to just to hit the expectations. Like, this is what you buy in for as a fan. This is part of the journey. I know ultimately whatever happens the rest of March, and that specifically that final game that you play, that's going to be the lasting feeling that you have as a fan going into next year. But with the opportunity in front of them, I think it's extremely important for this team to be the number 1 seed, because that also means that they've avoided a loss this week.
Yes.
So this is the scenarios in play for the number one seed. Of course, there's multiple scenarios where there's co-conference champions at the top, with Colorado State being 14-4, Utah State being 14-5, and the Aztecs are 13-5. And so they could still throw their hat into that mix, given the fact that Lobos have 2 games left. The only team that plays 1 game this week is Utah State at 14-5. But the scenarios for who could be the number one seed, it could be Colorado State, New Mexico, or San Diego State. And then it could be Boise State, Colorado State, UNM, SDSU, or Utah State for 2. There's still a lot of movement. There's still a lot to play for. But ultimately, that even if it's a share, but you take that step tonight if you're in New Mexico, put yourself in position to come home into UNLV. And, of course, it's a new Mountain West schedule of playing 20 games. So it's a lot more conference games than you played in the past. But in this schedule, to be sitting there, an opportunity to go 17-3, be the number one seed in the conference tournament, clinch a regular season title, cut down some of those nets going into Las Vegas. I think it's extremely important for them to be the number one seed to avoid a loss and bounce back on the road. Yeah, the last road trip was tough, man. We had games at Boise State. The Broncos blew them out the belt. The challenge that was San Diego State. And now you're walking into a game against an 8-10 Nevada team and you're a 1.5 point underdog. You actually can have a chip on your shoulder tonight. I know they're not focused on that and the point spread and all that other stuff, but there's always that little extra you're looking for. And this is one of those little extra things where you're walking into the Lawler Event Center, the number one team in the Mountain West Conference, and you're a 1.5 point underdog.
Yeah, one thing I actually made note of this yesterday is, it's really easy for us as Lobo fans to expect them to, for instance, say the last game versus Air Force. I heard some people like, I thought they were going to win by like 50 or things like that, and it's like, look, they have a coach who I think he knows how to weather the storm and he knows how to not panic. So I think they also, as players, may have an element of like non-panic when they do find themselves in a situation. But what I will say is, with this last loss being the first time this season they lost 2 straight. I feel like if you do go out and you get 3 losses straight after not losing 2 straight all year, I do think that one could be something that could alter your confidence going into the tournament. So that's another reason why I would say it's very important. You want to go in and get this win because you're coming off 2 tough losses. You don't want to go 3 straight. That's it. Oh, actually, they did win.
Well, it'll be 3 straight road losses.
Yes,
against. This is not a game like Boise State was going to be tough. Tyson Degenhart is one of the top 5 players in the Mountain West. San Diego State with their defense, but if you're expecting a closer game tonight, the Lobos are the better basketball team.
Yes,
even as it's slight underdog. Like this is a game I'm expecting New Mexico to compete and win. Yeah, Saturday against Air Force, double digits. That was one of those games, the 1-win conference team. You beat Air Force at home by double digits. That is an expectation that I'm cool with. Tonight, you get out there, 6 to 8 point win, you're feeling good. Because it's just the style. And we saw it in game 1. Now, the Lobos, they got up and down against Nevada in that overtime game in the pit. Remember Nelly Jr. Joseph had to pick the ball up at the free throw line and saved the Lobos.
Oh, yeah, that was the 1,000th game at the pit, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, that was my first Lobo game.
Your first Lobo game, game number 1,000, goes to overtime. Nelly Jr. Joseph, the game winner over Nevada. You got to go all the way back to January 3rd. And these teams played in the pit. So you know the style of game it can be. And Nevada can challenge you. And that one, it wasn't necessarily about Nevada slowing it down like crazy. Nevada plays one of the slowest tempos in college basketball, the slowest pace in the Mountain West. Lobos got to the rim. They had 32 points in the paint in that game. Nelly Jr. Joseph had 20 points. Donovan Dent had 20 points, even with what Nevada likes to do. It's pack it in and keep you away from the rim. That game was about the defense. And this is what it's about for the Lobos. They allowed Nevada to shoot 42% overall in that game, which was 51% in the first half. And that's really what changed it, because Nevada shot just 30% in the second half, but it was 37-34 at halftime. Lobos allowed Nevada to get rolling. We know this Lobo team, it's pace, it's transition, it's playing good defense, getting out and running. Nevada only turned over 10 times in the pit. And if you're in New Mexico, you want to turn the Wolfpack over 13, 14, 15 times tonight. Get out in transition a few times. Don't allow them to set up their defense, and that's going to be a successful night for the Lobos. Attack the rim. The Wolfpack even packing it into the paint. They're not going to be able to just eliminate Nelly Jr. Joseph like San Diego State was, and especially even coming off that film, I'm expecting the Lobos to have new ways to get Nelly Jr. Joseph the basketball. You can run big on big screens underneath. You can run bigs off the baseline. And so I don't see Nevada being able to defend Nelly like San Diego State was. So ball inside, going downhill. It's not just the pick and roll up top, but it's the things you can run inside to get him the basketball. And we know this team thrives inside and out. Donovan Dent, True Washington, Nelly Jr. Joseph, and then it spreads from there. 505-246-0610. Lobos and Nevada tonight. An opportunity to clinch at least a share of the Mountain West regular season title. And for the Lobos, they would then come home, face UNLV in that final game of the regular season Friday night, sitting at 16-3 in conference play. And then I'll have to take a step back and see what else happens. We'll go over the Mountain West scoreboard. I want to dive into where the Lobos are in the NCAA tournament projections and looking at the ceiling and the teams that you need to be paying attention to, because it's all about what happens with everyone else. For New Mexico, quad one opportunity tonight. Yes, Nevada is 71st in the net rankings. And what does that mean? Well, if you're on the road, 1 through 75, it's a quadrant one opportunity for New Mexico to put on their resume. But what are some of the other teams that the Lobos are battling in terms of where they sit on those seed lines that you need to be aware of as the madness is here? Scheduled to be joined by Kenny Thomas this morning at 9 a.m. We'll talk with Kenny about the Lobos' performance against the Air Force in one of those games where it's a get-right setting. You know you are double digits better than Air Force, and you accomplish that, and now the mentality that they're going to take into Reno tonight. It's JJ Buck. Zay Johnson with you. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Jim Rome.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
To win tonight, I trust them that they're the best team in the Mountain West Conference. This in terms of where they sit right now, 15-3, what's in front of them in a road game at Nevada, hosting UNLV. That is locked down the number 1 seed. Now you go to Las Vegas and you're a neutral court site game with any of the top 5. It could be different. This team on a neutral court, it's with San Diego State, much more 50-50 contest. State, much closer, of course. But tonight, I would take the Lobos in the points. I expect them to win this game. Now, as you said, when they lock in, they get up and down. But what does that mean in terms of the NCAA resume, right? You know, right, you have the opportunity to go to Las Vegas, to get that automatic bid, to win your conference tournament. But you want to be on the right side. Now, last year, everyone thought the Lobos were on the right side of that bubble, even finishing in 6th place in the Mountain West Conference. But you go in, you make that run to the title of the game, you win it winning 4 games in 4 days, and you get in. But then the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee on that Sunday says, I knew who one of the bid stealers was the New Mexico Lobos. And everyone was shocked. What? How is that possible? So where do the Lobos sit right now? This is a game of musical chairs. And let's use my friend of the show, everyone's favorite, Jerry Palm, CBS Sports, because we talk with him every Thursday. We have the opportunity to directly ask him questions about his process. He's done this for a very long time. And I go right to his bracket, which was updated once again this morning. So he's in it every single day. Conference tournaments already going on around the nation, final week of the regular season. And the Lobos, all the movement, still a 9 seed in the bracket. And so what does that mean? Well, you need to look at really the ceiling for New Mexico and the floor, which, of course, the worst case scenario is you don't make it in the NCAA tournament, but I don't believe that happens. So the ceiling, the floor, and then who are the teams that you're battling with your resume-wise in terms of who do you need to be looking at the movement of, this team loses, it could have an effect on the seeding line. So to me, it's 7 through 11. Right? The absolute ceiling for the Lobos, I think, would be a 7. That would be winning out the rest of the way. The last 2 regular season games, you go to Vegas, you win the Mountain West title. And then, so what are you looking at that point in time? You go out, you look at the 7 line right now. Maryland, UCLA, St. Mary's, and Louisville. And so, of course, you'd be asking yourself, all right, does one of those teams drop? St. Mary's, yes, is actually the favorite right now in the West Coast Conference over Gonzaga. But Louisville, if they go out early in their conference tournament in the ACC, team that could drop. But then you have to move to the 8 line. All right, well, the 8 seeds would be in line to jump up ahead of you. Who are you looking at in that scenario? You have Creighton, Vanderbilt, Illinois, and BYU. So, all right, there's one of those teams slide out early, miss opportunities like a Vanderbilt, missing a ton of great resume building opportunities in the SEC tournament. Now, all these tournaments are structured so differently, with the amount of buys. Have you seen some of these postseason college basketball brackets?
No.
I got to throw, if you get a chance, look at the Sun Belt Conference Tournament bracket, the SEC Conference Tournament bracket, and how some of these things are structured. They're absolutely wild because some of these leagues are so big.
It's completely different between the two?
Some of these leagues, the top 2 seeds don't even start their conference tournament until the semifinals.
Wow.
But so the opportunities are way different for a lot of these teams. Some bubble teams actually have more opportunity to build their resume because they have to play more games because they don't have one of those first or second round buys in a conference tournament getting past the quarterfinals. Like it's crazy, some of these postseason conference tournament brackets that you're seeing.
Yeah, college is just so complex, man. You have so many different teams.
All the movement. Some of these leagues, of course, you want to try and put your best foot forward. So that's why you advance. We've seen it at times. The WAC, etc., allowing teams, top seeds to not have to come into the semifinals. Like I understand, especially with smaller conferences, because you want to limit the potential danger of your best team losing early and missing the NCAA tournament, and then a 500 team from the ASUN or MEAC or something like that gets to the NCAA tournament. You're like, well, that's a bummer, but that's also the beauty of conference tournaments. So still a ton of moving pieces. So that 7 line, Maryland, UCLA, St. Mary's, Louisville. 8 line, Creighton, Vanderbilt, Illinois, BYU. So those are teams, like someone has to falter. But multiple teams have to falter because then it allows one of those 8 seeds to jump up there first. And then you'd be looking at, all right, can you go from a 9 to an 8? But that really doesn't matter. 8, 9, you're playing the same game. You're playing into the 1 line. The biggest jump would be to get to a 7. And I think there's probably too many obstacles in front of the Lobos, too many teams that could jump and take advantage of if one of those 7th or 8th seeds falters, just based on those are power conference teams, the majority of them, what Creighton has in the Big East tournament, Vanderbilt in the SEC, Illinois in the Big 10, BYU in the Big 12, a lot of opportunities to take advantage of one of those teams slipping then before you get to the 9 seeds, which right now it's Utah State, New Mexico, Gonzaga, and UConn. And so I think the absolute ceiling would be a 7. And then you look at, all right, well, what happens if? What happens if you lose in Reno tonight? You go out in the second round of the Mountain West tournament. You play on that Thursday, an opening game. You lose Friday Then you could be looking at New Mexico in the 10-11 line. And who are the 10s in this case? Well, we got Georgia, West Virginia, Indiana, and then San Diego State is right there. So San Diego State is looking at how high could they get. So they're looking at those teams in front of them, and two of those teams are their conference foes, Utah State and New Mexico. And then you get into the 11 territory. And 11s is where you're uneasy. 11 is the true bubble territory because 11s, that's where you get your last four in. The last four in, Baylor, Xavier, Arkansas, and Boise State. Now, there's teams that would be playing in the first four. So that is your ultimate bubble territory. And the 11s, the last four in, just named them there. But the other ones on that line, you have Oklahoma, at VCU. Lobos have a win against VCU in the pit this season. McNeese, UC San Diego, so you're projecting some of the smaller conference champions on the 11 line. And then you're looking at, all right, who are the teams nipping at their heels? Yes, I'm throwing a lot of names at you, but this is what we're in, man. Yeah. We're in bracket season, and these are the schools in which you're fighting for a seed line or you drop. Where do you go? First four out: Nebraska, North Carolina, Ohio State, and Cincinnati. So with all those things thrown out there, I think the Lobos handle their business, beat Nevada and UNLV, pick off a couple, and are playing on Friday in the Mountain West semifinal. I think ultimately they end up probably a 9 seed. They're in that 8-9 game, which the 8-9 game right now for New Mexico, according to Jerry Palm, he has them in Lexington playing Illinois.
Ooh, the home state.
So, and that would be opposite one seed Auburn. And the other 8-9 games was Creighton and Utah State opposite Duke and Raleigh. You have Vanderbilt, Gonzaga opposite Houston and Bryant in Wichita. So Houston would be the one seed there. And then you have BYU, UConn, and Lexington opposite Tennessee and Nebraska, Omaha. Like, if you're getting in the NCAA tournament, and then you say, oh, well, you know, do you want to slide and play a 2 seed? Well, you have to play a 7. Well, who are the 7s? So I just named them. Right, you're looking at Louisville, UCLA, Maryland, and St. Mary's. And somehow, some way, I don't know if that, since it's not conference, I don't think they'd be worried about if, say, it's a 10-7 matchup where New Mexico plays UCLA again.
Yeah, right. You get to see them again.
And then the 2s you're looking at right now in the bracket: Michigan State, Alabama, Florida, and Wisconsin. So for the Lobos to get to the Sweet 16, they're going to have to beat a national championship contender. They're going to have to beat a 1 or 2 seed. That's if they can get through an 8-9 game or possibly a 7-10 game. And I don't think there's going to be enough movement where the Lobos can push themselves to a 7 in this scenario and then be looking at playing one of the 10 seeds. I think if they handle their business, I think they're pretty much locked into that 8-9 matchup. And then you're playing a 50-50 game where they're, you know, New Mexico, if you against Creighton, Illinois, BYU, UConn, or Vanderbilt, or Gonzaga, you can most likely be the underdog.
Yeah. You think they'd be underdogs versus Illinois?
I do. In this case, that's what you're looking at. And so I know we throw a lot of names at you, a lot of seeds, but this is kind of what you need to be focused on. Oh, why aren't the Lobos higher? What could happen if they slide? Like, that's the portion of the bracket where the Lobos are. Those are the teams you need to be paying attention to. And if one of them slips, are you in a position to take advantage of it? Or who around you has the opportunities? But tonight it is Nevada, 505-246-0610. The expectations for New Mexico on the road, 1.5-point underdogs. And winning a regular season title, does it resonate with you? Is this important to you as a fan? JJ Buck, Zay Johnson with you on ProView and 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report brought to you by the Albuquerque Journal.
The Albuquerque Journal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Okie. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Title for the Lobos. They have a chance to clinch a share of that tonight in Reno, New Mexico. Sitting atop the Mountain West right now, 15-3, nipping at their heels. Colorado State 14-4. Utah State 14-5, just one game left in the regular season for the Aggies. The Aztecs and Boise State 13-5. So the top five is solidified now. The final order of the standings. Still a lot of potential movement, but for New Mexico, they can't fall lower than the number 2 seed in the Mountain West tournament. It's opening drive. JJ Buck, Zay Johnson with you, 2460610. Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning. The other games tonight, Colorado State hosting San Jose State. Rams are 15.5-point favorites at home. Boise State at Air Force. Broncos, 15.5-point favorites on the road. Wyoming at Fresno State, 2.5-point favorites for the road team in Wyoming. And San Diego State at UNLV. The Aztecs, 3.5-point favorites in Vegas. To get this one on the text line, best case scenario, this texter writes in and says, best case scenario is 6 or 7. You look at the Denver Pods having a 6-11 game, 7-10 game would be an easy opportunity for Lobo fans to get there. Next best option would be the 9-hour drive to Wichita, which is a similar distance to Vegas. I don't see a 6. I think 6 is out of reach. Like 7, you'd have to have so many things go your way, not just winning out the rest of the way, winning in Las Vegas, getting the Mountain West tournament title there, picking off a couple wins, adding whether it's San Diego State, the Boise State, another one against Utah State to your resume, but then all the movement in front of you. I think the Lobos are going to end up in that 8-9 game, kind of regardless of what happens. Of course, not falling off the face of the earth. I don't think the Lobos are going to fall off a cliff and find themselves with 2 losses this week and then going out early in the Mountain West tournament. And then all of a sudden, we're not talking about, can you be a 7 or 8 seed? We're talking about, are you going to be an 11 seed? Are you going to be one of those last 4 teams in territory for the Lobos? But yeah, there's 8-9 matchups. You're probably going to be an underdog at any of them. Tough opening round game, and then you're playing a 1 seed. And that's the life. When you look at the NCAA tournament, look what happened last year. Lobos were a hot team going into the NCAA tournament. A lot of people liked their matchup against Clemson, the way they were playing, and got buoyed around. And then Clemson is the team that goes on the NCAA tournament run, and Lobos are one and done. But before you get to the NCAA tournament, the steps you take to get there along the way is winning a regular season conference title. And I think those are super important, and especially to have those moments. The expectations for Lobo basketball, what Richard Pitino and this team has done is, the conference championship and win games in the NCAA tournament. But along the way, to win a regular season title, it is an important moment for a team. To have a little extra taste of success, to have a little something to show for it. And it's not settling. It's not the end goal. We understand that. But when you put in as much work as these programs do, winning a regular season title, it's really important. And a lot of coaches you talk to, they understand that the automatic bid goes to the conference tournament champ. But they put more value in a regular season title because that's a body of work. Mm-hmm. That's you beat everyone else in your conference. Like the majority of your schedule is your conference schedule. These are the teams that you're budgeted against, that in a lot of cases you're recruiting against, and even in this NIL era. Like winning a regular season title is huge.
Yeah.
Now I know it doesn't get you the automatic berth, but if you're in a good conference, winning a regular season title, of course, most likely puts you in the NCAA tournament conversation. But I don't know if people give it the credit that coaches and players give it to.
Yeah, and, I think players, the reason why that's important is because obviously this is not one of the things that Lobo fan is thinking about. But, you look at the big picture, you win the conference, I'm sure, for recruiting purposes, that helps the future. I mean, you look at, the Lobos, they won the conference. That's obviously, they've got something going, down there in Albuquerque. So that might also help, lure some people in the future to come this way when you look at the accolades.
Of course. And then it's all the work you put in. I think what's exciting and what gives you hope is that, hey, maybe even if it's not your season, right, you go into that conference tournament and anything can happen. Who knows? A 500 team could get hot and win a conference tournament, and they're going to the NCAA tournament. And so that's the uncertainty of a one-and-done situation. But when you win a regular season conference title, it's a lot of work that goes into it. And especially this year, a 20-game Mountain West schedule, you played everyone twice. It was a true conference champion. And I know that doesn't guarantee you anything, but it is really big to win a conference championship. It definitely resonates through a program, a coaching staff, and players to be a conference champion, especially when you are in a situation when you play everyone, as the Lobos and the rest of the Mountain West Conference did with a 20-game conference schedule. So as a fan, do you just want to be a regular season champ? No. You have postseason expectations. Mm-hmm. But this is something that's very meaningful to a university, to a program. You talk to coaches. I've talked to plenty of coaches, too. And they understand it, right? It's still a money game. The conference tournament, it's the hope. It's the opportunity. It's you get a chance to go to Vegas, in this case, for Mountain West fans. Enjoy it. But I don't think the Ivy League was crazy for as long as they went without a postseason basketball tournament. You know, they were one of the last conferences to institute that. Like, they gave their automatic bid to the regular season champ. And you know what? In most cases, I think that's a great thing to do. Like, that's how you earn it. Now, conference tournaments are a lot of fun, and they give you an opportunity when your season didn't quite go the way you wanted it to. But I don't think it's crazy that they're having a conversation of, should a regular season champ be awarded the automatic bid? Absolutely. But college basketball is about brackets. It's about conference tournaments leading in to the NCAA tournament, and thus, this is where we're at. But I will say, the Lobos win tonight and at least clinch a share, then have an opportunity for an outright conference title. Enjoy it. That's a big step forward for the program. It means a lot to the players. And it's okay to enjoy things as fans and not think everyone is resting on their laurels or not think they're striving for more and they're just going to be satisfied with winning a regular season champion. A lot of work goes into that, man. You know, I put in less work than teams, but I know what it's like. You've been an athlete, Zay, at the college level, the work you put in, you're bouncing around, the road trips, all the stuff you're doing.
Yeah, it's a lot, man.
It's a lot. And this is definitely a nice feather in the cap. And it starts with the conference championship, and then you build from there. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line. And this morning, coming up at 9 o'clock, scheduled to talk with Kenny Thomas. We'll kick it with KT, get his thoughts on Air Force Lobos being underdogs in Reno tonight, how they really speed up a team that wants to play slow and pack it in. Get his thoughts on that. Some of the NBA headlines, too. There's a lot of noise when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks this morning. And I want to get Kenny's thoughts, too, on what Anthony Edwards said anytime he plays KD. So KD is Anthony Edwards' GOAT. That's Edwards' favorite player. He says, anytime I step on the floor with Kevin Durant, I want to give him the work. I wonder if Kenny Thomas ever had those moments in the NBA, a player that he stepped on the floor against and was like, ooh, I cannot wait to go against this guy. We'll talk with Kenny Thomas at 9 o'clock. Coming up on the other side, though, we're learning more about what's going on at Fresno State. The betting allegations, the players kicked off the team, and we know actually some of the games they bet in on the player props, and one of them involved a game against New Mexico. If that coming up next, the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Lobos in Reno tonight. 6:30 pregame over on News Radio KKOB, UNM Sports Radio Network. Robert Portnoy and Hunter Green. 7 p.m. tip-off. And I know it's frustrating at times when there's just overlap, but if you want to, get out to the pit tonight. I know the Lobo women play at the same time. And I know they take second billing tonight. It's understandable. Lobo men are going for a regular season conference championship. I got it. But if you have the opportunity to get out there, do, because it's the last game in the pit for VNA Cumber. And I know the Lobos celebrated Senior Day and their last Saturday game against Utah State, which I like. You know, it allowed for a lot more people to be in attendance on a weekend game. Mm-hmm. And the seniors got their moment, you know, friends and family in town. So I do like that twist, because tonight then you would be asking people to come out to Senior Day. Oh, by the way, the Lobo men are playing at the same time.
Yeah.
But if you can't get out to the pit for the seniors, one last ride for them at home. A Lobo basketball team that, in the women, that are trying to take that winning feeling with them to Las Vegas. And, you know, Lobo women are one of those teams I'm talking about. Didn't play to the way that they wanted to this season, but you got a conference tournament, which struggled in. But again, you know, it's that opportunity, right? The hope that is there. They're locked in that 4-5 game. They're going to be playing San Diego State, as they seem to always do when they get to Las Vegas in Mountain West tournament. But for VNA Cumber, the Albuquerque native, her next 3-point make, she's the program's all-time leader.
Wow.
So she would have 240 threes, with a chance to build on that tonight against Air Force. By the way, Falcons team that's playing really good. They have 2 players in Madison Smith and Milani Perry averaging 15 points per game. It's one of the best Air Force teams in a while. I know the Lobos have a ridiculous streak going against the Falcons, but Perry and Smith are legit. And we know the Lobos at times could be leaky defensively, so it's going to be a competitive game with Air Force 7-10, Lobos 10-7 in conference play. But for Cumber, it was a bittersweet week last week, because Cumber, the starters, they didn't play good in really either game. The Wyoming game, and then the bench was phenomenal in the Fresno State comeback, overcoming a 22-point deficit. They got 35 points off the bench. So she didn't break the record last week. We were on record watch last week in Wyoming and in Fresno State. She made 1 3 at Fresno State, so she tied Latasia Duff, 239 career-made threes. So it's bittersweet, right? She didn't break the record, but she has an opportunity to do it at home tonight.
You come out like Luka and just start throwing them things up there. No, you don't do that. You want to win first. I think naturally, she'll get the record for sure at home.
Yeah, and so for Vienna Cumber, look at what she did. She was committed to Texas Tech. Out of high school, she's going to Texas Tech. Texas Tech had a coaching change. She reopened her commitment. She came to the University of New Mexico, played in just 18 games her freshman season, dealt with a knee injury, hit 15 threes in those 18 games, but then picked it up and had a really good sophomore season where she shot 40% from 3. That was her career from 3. Full-time starter junior and senior seasons, setting career highs in field goals made, 3-point shots, total points in this season. Now an opportunity at home to become the program's all-time 3-point leader, the Albuquerque native Vienna Cumber. So I know Lobo fans, and yes, spent the first 3 segments on Lobo men's basketball, but if you get an opportunity, at least throw on the Mountain West Network for a little bit, see if Cumber, see if you can catch the moment V breaks that record against Air Force tonight in the pit, and it's dueling 7 o'clock tip-off. So dueling pregame shows 6:30 right here on the UNM Sports Radio Network and the Sports Animal, home for Lobo women's basketball, and we will also have you covered for the entire Lobo women's run in Vegas. Those games will be right here. Of course, the men over on News Radio KKOB as the opening drive, of course, will be live at the Mountain West Conference Tournament. Jeff Simbieta will be there for the men in the second half of the week, and I'll be out there early with all the action going on with the women. 505-246-0610. Do want to get into the Fresno State stuff. I know I teased it. I was hoping to sneak that in this segment, but we'll roll that over at the top of the hour as we continue our conversation about Lobo basketball tonight, underdogs in Nevada. And it was Fresno State stuff. It was interesting. I was talking with Matt Norvell, the voice of the Fresno women's team, but he was actually calling the men's game as well on Saturday. He said there was a weird buzz for a while because what happened at Fresno State? Well, they had players kicked off the team for betting on themselves. For betting the over/under on prop bets. They got caught. There's more news coming out of the games that they bet on. Their player props in.
There's literally people who sit down behind a bunch of computers, and their job is to dig and dig and dig and dig and try to find these types of things. You're just not going to get away with it.
Yeah, and someone, if they do have a conscience, who might let someone know, like, hey, you got some players betting on. So this, and how it came out too, someone told Fresno State's head coach, and then he took it to the next.
So it wasn't just like the normal people who will catch it. It was a direct.
And then they opened the investigation, as you have to. So here's the thing. I know betting in sports, some people are still iffy with it. It's here. But here's the thing. You can make money off sports betting if you're these leagues. You can have contract deals as a player and do commercials and make money, but you can't bet on sports. It's not that difficult. It is not that difficult. You can exist in this world where there's sports betting, and guess what? As long as you're an athlete, as long as you're involved in sports, you can't do it.
Even if you're a friend of an athlete, you gotta be careful.
Yes. You just can't do it. But we got some more news on that Fresno stuff, and one of the games that the players bet on themselves in hurt against the Lobos. Dive into that next. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women.
Xfinity Channel 26, or it's online multiple ways to watch it. Facebook, YouTube, stream it, enjoy it. A lot of people watching yesterday. Symbieta was in that garage hosting the show on the road. I asked him, what are you doing, man? You're doing laundry? You're a janitor now? It's just, sometimes you just got to find where you can host a show, especially if you're on the road and you're doing it an hour earlier. And he was at a family's house, so he went into an area where he wasn't going to wake everyone.
Yeah, at least he put in the effort and got it done, and he found a way.
He got it done.
I did tune in and see that.
So Jeff will be back on Thursday morning, but we have plenty to get to. Lobo basketball all day, every day. It's March Madness, baby. We got Kenny Thomas coming up at 9 o'clock. We'll talk with KT about the Lobos doing what they had to do, and that was handling Air Force by double digits. That was the expectation. Now, tonight, I'd say 6 to 8 points. It's a good Lobo win, and they have the opportunity to do more. Now, they're underdogs. I was a little surprised to see that. I thought maybe the Lobos would be 1.5 point favorite. I'm expecting a victory. I'm not expecting them to blow Nevada out the built. Mm-hmm. But they have that opportunity, as you've talked about, Zay, when this team is clicking, when they're playing defensively, frustrating teams getting out in transition, they have that opportunity and to win by 10, 15 points against their conference opponents. And Nevada offensive was really good in the first half. You have to go all the way back to January 3rd in a game in which Nelly Jr. Joseph saved the season at that moment in time.
Yeah.
Picking the ball up off the floor at the free throw line, game-winning basket. That was how close Nevada came to ruining game 1,000 in the pit. Now, fast forward, they're 8-10. Kobe Sanders coming off 30 points, but they lost to UNLV last time out. But they're home favorites, and it's one where I'm not saying, Lobos going to go out there and beat them by 20. I think the Lobos can win. It's going to be a tough game, but they do that if they get to the basket. They do that if they attack inside, get baskets in transition. At this point in time, we know who all these teams are. We know how they can be successful. I have throughout the year, the Lobos have won in multiple ways. Up-tempo games. They've had some grind-out games. So I think they can handle different styles. But when, of course, any team asserts their style on a game, that's advantage to that team. But we talked about lines and spreads. And it's here. It's not going anywhere. It's only going to be more and more. And all these broadcasts, you see it when scores come across the bottom. Who's favored? Who has the ESPN or Fox Sports percentage to win? All this stuff is out there, right? This is the world we live in. The one thing and heck, we were talking about it yesterday with Pete Rose, of all people, right? The late Pete Rose, and why he's not in the Hall of Fame, because he bet on baseball as a manager. You can't do it. It's pretty simple. And to me, there's no, if you're going to talk about sports betting all the time and you make money off sports betting, you can't do it if you're in the game. That money is coming into your sport, and you are telling everyone else, you're telling all the average Joes to go to their sports books, to invest in the online apps, to do all that. But you can't do it yourself. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. The fast money. It's the whole thought of the fast money. It's drawing these players in like a trap. And of course, if you think it's not that you always have to bet the more on yourself or bet the under, but let's just say a certain game, the game plan is
it's so easy to control. That's what's dangerous about it.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm going is, everyone's like, well, if you're going to have sports betting, bad things can happen. Yeah, and that's why there's regulation. That's what Zay pointed out. That's why these companies invest a lot of money in people that watch this stuff. Where's the money coming from? Who's betting on it? Why was there a $100,000 bet on some random SWAC game, right? You have people that monitor these things. But what is also, I think, dangerous in this, and there's a big conversation, is player prop bets. Because those are the things that as a player you control directly. Those are the dangerous things. It's not necessarily, to have a whole team throw a game or point shaving, those are few and far between. That's a lot of work. But now that you have player prop bets, on anything, we're not talking about Luka Doncic over under 5.5 made threes for the Lakers. We're talking about Fresno State basketball players, rebounds, assists. That stuff is out there.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of leaning towards, is the rebound line. Let's just say you know that you're not going to be playing a certain position that game, or you're not going to be, the game plans are not for you to be in the paint that much, so you're not going to get as many offensive rebounds.
It's not even game plan. You can just pass up shots.
Yeah,
you can just not grab rebounds. and make it just look like, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention, and essentially get yourself benched to where the bet doesn't get thrown out. Because some sites, I don't know if they do this down at the college level, but some sites, if a player gets injured, say in the first half, they refund your money, right?
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily fake an injury to cash your bet, but you can jake it and get yourself benched.
And I think that's the tricky part, and I think that's the only way the game plan would matter, is because as a player, it's do I want to risk my playing time? And I think
if you're betting money on it, you don't care. And this is where Fresno State is.
That's crazy.
So the Fresno State story, if you don't know, they have kicked players off their team because of betting allegations, of betting on themselves. And ESPN had a story that came out over the weekend. David Purdom, he's one of their bet writers. Well, he reported that junior forward Mikel Robinson and associates bet on the unders on Robinson's points and rebounds in games that he played. So he was removed from the roster January 11th. This has been going on for a little bit. That was before that game against Nevada. Senior guard Jalen Weaver admitted that he also placed the bet that he would exceed 11 rebounds during the December 31st game against New Mexico. And he scored 13 in that game. But Weaver was dropped from the team. So Robinson and Weaver off the team for betting on themselves. And Weaver actually talked to ESPN about this. And he said, quote, "I just made a bad decision, and I shouldn't have even gotten involved with that. Now, I'm obviously paying for it. I bet on a game I played in, but I never tried to sabotage the season. I never bet on us to lose, never bet on my unders." It doesn't matter that you never bet on your unders. People say, well, if you're betting on yourself to win, you know what's easier to do? Is bet on yourself to lose. Is bet on yourself to not get 11 points. It's betting on yourself to get benched. Because you talked about the game plan. Well, you know what you do, Zay? You go out there and you leave your man wide open. You run to the wrong spot on offense. You set the wrong screens. You throw the ball away. You get yourself benched.
I feel like it would have to be.
And that's how you say, oh, I cashed in on the under. That's easier to do. Instead of be like, well, I never bet on us to lose. Yeah, but guess what? If you bet on yourself to go over and you're not going over, how do you get on the right side?
That I 100% agree with. Maybe it's just because I'm thinking about, and from my own perspective, if I was on a football team, I don't know exactly. I know basketball, the roster is a lot smaller. So usually if you're a starter, if you're like a rotational player, you're going to get your minutes. But in the,
these are players that don't care about winning. These are players that don't care about their minute. If you're betting on yourself in a game, in this case, he's like, yeah, I bet myself to go over. I was going to attack. No, and what happens if you score 9 points? And then the next game, you're like, oh, I'm going to bet myself to go over. And then you score 8 points. How do you get back on track? No. It's jaking it. It's going under. And so where I'm trying to get to with all this, too, is there's been a lot of conversation about player prop bets, especially when it comes to college athletes. Mm-hmm. Because that's the thing. You can find these online gaming places. It's not all just, DraftKings and FanDuel, but like you can find over-under lines for college basketball games.
Yes.
Player prop bets. Now, I am someone that when I do bet the occasional times, this is what I like to go after. I like to stack player props. I find enjoyment in it.
Of course.
You know, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to take the over on, like, the Super Bowl, right? Putting some stuff together. It's like, oh, A.J. Brown, I had him as a touchdown scorer. And I was like, oh, you know, and I'm going to go Xavier Worthy over 4 catches. Like, I like player prop bets. But I also understand how those can become some of the most dangerous things when it comes to people taking advantage of sports gambling, which is what we're seeing at Fresno State.
Yeah, I feel like the money would have to be a large amount because if you get benched for one game, if you do something egregious enough and the coach is watching film and he's like, can't figure out why you did that, I mean, you might get benched for multiple games. So, like, I mean, you have to be a player in order for you to risk getting benched and possibly losing your spot in the rotation. I mean, it would have to be some type of money that was near what you get for NIL.
And it's not.
So with that, I feel like if it was me.
There's dudes that are probably just chasing a couple $100, maybe a couple $1,000 on their player props.
So I would if it was me, I would probably stick to like points, like things that I could make seem like an accident. Like you might even not have to pass up the shot,
all
just
this
miss
stuff,
it.
Points, rebounds, assists. It's easy to go the under. I've watched plenty of basketball games firsthand where players play bad. And my first thoughts on like, oh, they're jaking it. Oh, they must have bet on themselves. No, like it's easy to play bad early and get yourself benched and hit the unders on these. And that's what's dangerous about it. And so I understand that there's a lot of people, you know, that want to see the college player prop bets pulled off the board so you don't get into these situations. That's understandable. I also know that that's a thing a lot of average bettors like to do is player prop bets.
Yeah.
As opposed to just, you know, money line and point spreads. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if you tell me that you bet on yourself to go over. Or I only bet on my team to win. I'm only betting to win. There's lines you can't cross in sport.
Yeah.
And why, to me, I don't look at this as, you know, it's hypocritical. All these leagues are making money and the players are it's for everyone else. It's not for them, man. And once you start getting into the integrity of the game, these situations, that even though, you know, Weaver placed a bet on himself to score more than 11 points against the Lobos, and he scored 13. It's so much easier to come out on the other side and take the under and find ways to not hit those numbers. So Fresno State, they got a lot of work to do on the basketball court, and now they're dealing with this situation. A credit, though, that when it came out there and when they found out about it, they took action. But I thought it was interesting that we knew some of the specifics, and one of the players actually gave a comment on it from Fresno State. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line. And this morning, Lobos and Nevada tonight. How you feeling that Lobo fans chance to clinch a share of Mountain West regular season title and prevent Steve Alford from getting win number 700 in his career against the Lobos? It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican.
And I'll go live at 6:30 for women's basketball. Your home for the Lobo men and their rest of the regular season. News Radio KKOB, Lobo women right here on the Sports Animal. JJ Buck, Zay Johnson with you. We're going to have a sweet deal for you here in one moment as well to enjoy the beauty of New Mexico. But we're going to get Dan in quickly. Dan, you're on the opening drive. What's going on, man?
Good morning, JJ. Hey, guys. Hey, so I'm naive to this whole NIL thing. How do they distribute that money? I mean, is it different players get larger amounts and lesser players get lesser amounts? I mean, is that what it is?
Well, Dan, I will answer that question for you next segment because that is going to take a lot more time than just a few seconds that we have. But we'll talk about name, image, and likeness. I know kind of Zay brought that up when referencing the betting scandal we're talking about at Fresno State as the players bet on themselves. A couple players kicked off the team, and the balance of, well, if you're betting money to make up for NIL or using your NIL money to bet. We'll get into that in a second because that's a much larger conversation. But it's Tuesday. It's about 8:20. You know what that means. Coming up at 9 a.m. on our website, another sweet deal goes live. And this one, you get 2 tickets for the price of 1 on select Sky Railway train experiences. Just for $99. There's just 65 deals available. So what are we talking about? Well, Brian is with us this morning to let you know what's up. Brian, good morning. How you doing?
Morning. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. And this is a great time of year. I know it's been a little bit windy today, but it's getting warmer. You still got all the colors. You're getting to spring. And one of the unique experiences of what you guys do, it's not just the experiences on the train, but it's an opportunity too to just get out and see this beautiful state. So let the people know what you guys got going with the Santa Fe Adventure Train.
Well, we run out of the rail yard district in Santa Fe, so you can catch us right from the main depot. So you can catch, if you're coming down up from Albuquerque, you can catch the train up, get off the train, and then literally get right back on our train. We got live music on every single train car. It's a great date night experience. Every run is about 2 hours to 2.5 hours. It's perfect after dinner, before dinner. We have a bar in every car, cocktails, local beer, local wine, anything from Sunset Serenade, ale trails, wine trains on Sundays. We got all our spring trains coming up with this great weather that you said. It's going to be on the flat cars. Yeah,
and you said there's also an experience to it, right? You're not just sitting down, having a drink, looking out the window. There's a lot of fun. I'm looking at like an Outlaw Express. What are the other things that you guys do?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. We're launching our Wild West train again this year, where it will be robbed by a bunch of cowboys, cowgirls, maybe on horses. There'll be shootouts. It's not your mom and pop train, so there's all different experiences, up to 22 different experiences that we have a year. So it's just not your train where you go out onto the desert and you look out the window.
Yeah, it's so much more than that. Our Sweet Deal goes live at 9 a.m. You get 2 tickets for the price of 1 on select experiences. There's $99. You get out there. You mentioned it, great date night. Get out there, but also some family fun too that you can have.
Yeah, there's something for everyone. You can bring the kids, or if you want to leave the kids at home and join us on a margarita train and turn it up, we have that experience for you too.
That's phenomenal. If people want some more information before they hit that Sweet Deal, where can they find you guys at?
They can just find us at skyrailway.com.
Skyrailway.com. Brian, appreciate it. Good luck with this. I know people will be jumping all over this, especially this time of year, looking to get outside. And I'm really interested, man. I just might be jumping on the Outlaw Express too. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, come join us. We're so happy to be doing the Sweet Deals with y'all.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Brian. That's Brian jumping in from the Sky Railway train experiences. And, man, that's really cool. You said you can get turned up on the trains, leave the kids home, or take your significant other out there, have a great time.
Okay.
Love that. The Outlaw Express sounds pretty fun. Throwback, old school Wild West days. Train robbery going down.
I didn't even know they had things like that here.
It's a good thing you're here this morning.
Yeah.
You learn about this sweet deal.
Yeah.
It goes live at our website at 9 a.m. sportsanimalabq.com. You can check out the Sky Railway train experiences. Of course, using the Santa Fe trains, adventure trains. So they got all kinds of stuff, theme train-wise, which we were discussing, revamped, vintage carriages, comfort, style, food and drink, all kinds of stuff for you. You get 2 tickets for the price of 1 coming up at our website at 9 a.m. We'll keep it rolling after this. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line. We're talking Lobo Hoops. Tonight, double game night, Lobo men and women in action. Lobo men, 1.5-point dogs at Reno. How you feeling, Lobo fans? Set to be joined by Kenny Thomas coming up at 9 o'clock. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
March 14 is 314 Pi Day.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong and we're still as local as red and green.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfasfa.org.
Lobos 1.5 point favorite.
Oh, wow.
Hopefully you were able to jump in there when Nevada was the favorite, get some of those less points in favor of New Mexico. But just like that this morning, they must have been listening. People must have been jumping on the Lobos.
Yeah, I was
like,
going to.
What?
I was going to put the bet in, but I didn't want to get in trouble for betting on the team.
You're not going to get. You're not.
I'm affiliated. Oh no, it's allowed for me. It's not. It's not like the Fresno State.
You're not a player.
Oh, okay.
You're not betting on yourself.
Okay.
Points and rebounds with the Lobos in Nevada tonight. Big game late in the season. Big game for everyone. Confidence-wise, standings-wise, Lobos have a chance to share the Mountain West regular season title tonight, keep Steve Alford from getting win number 700 in his head coaching career. Dub on the road, which right now, would be a quad 1 win. Nevada is 71st in that ranking, and 1 through 75 on the road, still quad 1 opportunity. But there's so much, man. Just getting that regular season title, that means so much to those players and coaching staff, and it should mean a lot to fans, especially when you play a round-robin schedule, 20 games, you are the best team. 505-246-0610. JJ Buck, Zay Johnson with you this morning on The Sports Animal, and of course, ProView Networks, Adrian holding it down there. Looking good as we're in the studio this morning. Go to the phones. Frank, you're on the opening drive. What's up, Frank? How you doing?
Hey, guys. How's it going today?
Going good, man.
Hey, I was going to tell you guys yesterday, but I had to get prepped for that windstorm.
Yeah.
So you better have all the sand plows ready. And I was wanted to say what you thought about the game, JJ. My team was waiting for that breakout game with Paris Laurel.
Yep.
She had 18 points, 4 blocks, a couple of rebounds, and her movement caused a couple of turnovers. And the team came out pretty good, and I hope Cumber breaks that record tonight. And I'll take my radio tonight to the game, and so I'm going to have to listen to the men's game on the radio. And good luck, Lobos.
Well, Frank, appreciate it. And thanks for coming out to the pit tonight to see the Lobo women.
Frank's a real one.
All right, I'm having a symbiotic moment with the hotline for a second. I got it. It's a unfortunate one. There hasn't been a lot of these this year, which has been nice, but a double game night with the Lobo men and women are playing at the exact same time. And I understand all the attention's been on the Lobo men. That's what we're talking about them this morning. It's what we do. I got it, being voice of the women. I hope you can get out to the pit tonight if you can, especially for Cumber, an opportunity. Her next made 3, she moves into first place all time in career made 3s at the University of New Mexico. And for UNM to have that winning feeling, take that into Las Vegas with you. They're locked into that 4-5 matchup against San Diego State. But to bounce back the way they did, they were down by 22 points. It was 31-9 with about 8.5 minutes to go in the second quarter in Fresno.
Wow.
And so I'm sitting there going, oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, all right, what storylines we're going to be talking about? What notes am I going to throw in there that just makes sense?
Coach is not going to be happy.
Coach already didn't talk to me after the Wyoming game. Probably not going to talk to me after this game. So, you're already kind of planning ahead, right? The game's going on. You're just like, all right, what are we going to do? Mountain West standings, schedule, games, etc. And then they just start chipping away. And that bench, you mentioned Paris Laro, and a lot of people were asking the question. Yes, a lot of people were. I see it because that's the circle I run in, so I see those things pop up on my social media, the women's basketball content, of why didn't this happen earlier? Where was Paris Laro all season? Drew Jordan off the bench. Why did you just play her now? Well, the Jordan one, I've seen it in terms of just the athleticism. The sophomore, 5'11", she's long. She's aggressive. Some of it was just understanding the system of where to be and how to play. With Paris Laro, the reason why, folks, she didn't pull the trigger. She was hesitating too much, and she acknowledged that herself as she would kind of overthink things at times. And she's the second best three-point shooter on this team. Yeah, Cumber has the record, but when you do the shooting drills, and you're just sitting there watching, like, all right, so who gets hot from three? Paris and V are the two players. Like, Paris can push V when it comes to three-point shooting. She's that good. But just when it came to her time on the floor, she'd pass up too many shots. She wouldn't pull the trigger. She'd hesitate. And if she was open on the wing or had a moment on the sideline, she didn't take the shot. And I think, when you look at where the Lobos were, down 22 points, second quarter, coach goes to his bench. Like, all right, someone do something. I think that freed up Paris a little bit, where she wasn't thinking in the back of her mind, like, oh, man, if I miss a shot or I don't make the play, I'm going right back to the bench. Kind of freed her up, knowing that you need to shoot the basketball. You're down by 22 points. Go in there and just make some plays. And she's good. She can be a rotation player. She could potentially be a starter on this team next year in that Cumber role as, playing potentially small forward for this team. Now, V's essentially been the power forward this season for the Lobos. But that's what it was. People are asking, what's the difference? She shot the basketball. She wasn't thinking about not making the play and then going back to the bench. She just made the play. And it led to a career high 18 points. She was 4 or 5 from three, 35 points off the bench for the Lobos. Maya Moreland with a double-double. And Maya Moreland's been in the rotation all year as a backup center, but it was also Drew Jordan, who was phenomenal, had 4 points. We're talking about 6 rebounds, 5 assists, no turnovers. And the Lobos overcome a 22-point deficit, beat Fresno State on Saturday, 65-61. Rudy, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Boy, what a conundrum tonight, we even had this thing going at the house where we have a group of people that watch the games, and they didn't come over for the last 2 road games when the Lobos lost. So tonight, everybody's back at the house, right, sitting in the spots they're supposed to.
Got to do it.
But we're not superstitious. So I think the real key tonight is to figure out a way to force some tempo and to get the game going a little faster. And I think if UNM can do that and hit some shots, that Nevada's going to pack it in. They're going to try to make us beat them from the outside. So this is the night for the three-point shooters to come through, and if they do, and I think they will, UNM will come back home with no worse than a tie for the conference championship, and you can win the whole darn thing Friday night on a red out. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I did want to just mention that if you get a chance, go out to the pit. But I think a lot of people are going to be watching the game on the Mountain West and watching the game on, is it Fox Sports, I believe, tonight?
It's
at 7?
CBS Sports Network for TV for Lobo Men.
Wow, that's unusual. Usually it's 8 or 9 o'clock at night, so we get a 7 o'clock break. But I just wish there was some way to not conflict those 2 games. So good luck to the women tonight, and good luck to the men, and I hope we will be saying Mountain West Conference champions tomorrow on the air.
Really appreciate the phone call, and that's the opportunity for the Lobo Men. It would be the first time since 2013 they call themselves regular season champs. They clinch a share, and then they would have the opportunity, of course, coming back home Friday night against UNLV, get that outright conference title. And the 1 seed, what does that mean? Well, means you play Thursday next week, and you'd play the winner of the 8-9 seed game, and then you get yourself the 4-5 contest. So you get to the Friday, and that Friday in Las Vegas, it's going to be popping. You get to the semifinals of the Mountain West Tournament, especially with 5 teams right now. Now, I believe in all 5. Not sure. Utah State, giant question mark for me right now. But you say, all right, top 5 teams in the Mountain West Conference can convince themselves that they could go to Las Vegas and get that automatic bid winning. But the Lobos want to go in as the 1 seed and as regular season champs. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning and every day, all throughout the day, of course, as well in the afternoon with 2 men on. Fred and Van. Scheduled up Kenny Thomas with us this morning, kicking it with KT, get his thoughts on trying to speed up a team that wants to slow you down, pack the paint. How do you get some of those paint touches for Nelly Jr. Joseph, and what it means to be a regular season champ? I know that's a one goal. It's a goal. It matters. And then next step, conference tournament, and then NCAA tournament. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by All.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66, built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on.
Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders if one of them fall.
I think it's really interesting for those teams at the top where, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders have separated themselves as the top two quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Are they as good as the top last year? Probably not. But if they're good enough, then you also get that, rookie quarterback contract window.
Yeah.
The thing with Sam Darnold, it's if you're signing Sam Darnold, you're giving him a pretty hefty contract, right? He's going to be making over $100 million.
Yeah.
So do you feel that you can be playoff ready right away?
Yeah.
That's the Sam Darnold situation where, if Sam Darnold steps in, do you become a playoff contender right away? Does Tennessee feel, all right, last year was just a quarterback issue. They have a roster that, even with the number one overall pick, would they lob Sam Darnold the call, right? And then bring him in and then take Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, number one overall.
Yeah.
And then go from there. And I do think that's interesting. And I think with the Giants, Brian Daboll and Mara, with what they're giving him a ton of room. So do they feel do they need to go the veteran route and just try to be competitive right now? Or do they think they're still going to get a couple years if they go with one of these rookie quarterbacks? Because Darnold does change things at the top of the draft. How interested are the Raiders in Sam Darnold? Obviously, they really were going after Matthew Stafford. The reports were that they were willing to give him, $90, $100 million over 2 years. Stafford staying in LA makes a ton of sense when it's all said and done. Do they pivot and do they see an extended runway with Pete Carroll and Sam Darnold? I know I'm interested to get your take on this. Because you've been kind of a Shedeur guy, right? You believe in him. And there's been a lot of noise that, and I know you've talked about this, that the Sanders camp, that they really want to angle themselves to Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And with Tom Brady and the ownership group, veteran coach and Pete Carroll, that they want to maneuver it so it's the Raiders at number 6 that are picking Sanders and not Cleveland Browns, not the New York Giants. It's the Raiders.
I feel, and this is just from the vibe that Shedeur's given me. And, I know social media is new, but it really matters a lot, especially with these younger athletes. You can really, really tell what's going through their mind if you just go watch their YouTube channels. Shedeur's got a YouTube channel. He updates it very often. And there's a lot of videos where he's always talking about the Giants. For the bowl game, he mentioned, I'm going to wear the shoes that are the color of the team I'm going to, and they were Giants cleats. And then he's made a video are the Giants still keeping in contact with Shedeur? So not that I think he knows that he's going there, because you never know what can happen.
That's interesting, because all of a sudden this morning, too, and I was listening to this on Xfinity Radio before us, Megan Perloff, they're going off about Sanders, the reports coming out, he's kind of, I'll go back, jaking it at the combine, not doing great in interviews, in a way to just kind of...
He's doing a Dion. I mean, I think he just feels
hey, I'm not here for everyone. There is a preferred destination. And a lot of people then all of a sudden kind of started assuming the Raiders. But you've seen the tea leaves and you think it's a Giant?
I think he wants Giants or Raiders. But I think his pride is not going to say, oh, the Giants are going to pass up on me if I'm there. So
do you think he wants to be the number 1 overall pick?
I think he knows he's not going to be, and I don't think he wants to be.
So
honestly,
that's interesting. It's Titans, Browns, and Giants, folks. They all need quarterbacks.
I think
which way are they going to go? Is it Cam Ward? Is it Shedeur Sanders?
I think the Titans might go Abdul Carter. I think the Giants are their best bet. Get Sam Darnold, then draft Travis Hunter. If you can't get Travis Hunter, you don't bring in Sam Darnold. Go get your generational quarterback.
Travis, get the cornerback that can moonlight at receiver, be your number 2 receiver at times opposite Malik Neighbors. It's interesting, y'all. It is interesting. Schedule talk with Kenny Thomas, kicking it with the KT Hoops, Scoops, and Alley Hoops. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Breaking news in the NBA. I don't know. There's bad trades in sports. Trades you look back on and go, how could you trade this player? Or you pulled one over. But I don't know if a franchise has had a trade go this bad this fast. And you can look at Deshaun Watson and what happened in Cleveland. Yeah, you gave up first-round picks. You paid Deshaun Watson a lot of money. But in this case, the Dallas Mavericks gave up a superstar that was 25 years old that had just helped their team get to the NBA Finals. Maybe he's a little bit doughy. Who cares? He shows up. He played in the postseason. And you're going to look at that Celtics series and be like, well, that's the reason we can't trust him, because Boston was that much better at every position. Mm-hmm. We're talking about you, the Dallas Mavericks. So last night, Kyrie Irving went down holding his knee. He went to the line and hit the free throws.
Gross injury.
And you're looking at it, going, okay, some speculation. Is it a knee sprain? Maybe you're trying to hold out best case scenario, as Sacramento went on to beat Dallas 122-98. We already know Anthony Davis has been out.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
there's some screenshots, and it's bad.
Yeah. And it didn't look that bad initially, right? It's fast play, goes down, holding his knee, walks to the free throw line. So, like, okay, maybe it is just a knee sprain. And we'll talk about, all right, can he come back? Will Dallas try to make a run, or will they just sit these guys the rest of the season? Well, now they know what's going to happen. Shams Charania, ESPN lead basketball newsbreaker now.
Shams, right?
Shams.
It's Shams.
Shams. Kyrie Irving has suffered an ACL tear in his left knee. So for the Dallas Mavericks, trying to talk themselves in circles, right? Nico Harrison, no, we don't need Joey Doncic. We need Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving to get it done. Well, has there ever been a trade that's gone this bad, this fast?
No, and for both ends. I mean, on one end, you've got AD went down. Okay,
Yep.
So then the other, the Robin to the Batman that's supposed to be Kyrie Irving, he is now down. So now even when AD comes back, now the load's going to be heavily on him, which opens him up to more injury, just based on his history. And then on the flip side, you've got the Lakers, who not only is Luka starting to find his rhythm, they're playing excellent defense. And one of the main things the Mavericks kept throwing shade on Luka about for making that trade is his defense is bad.
Well, they were playing good defense before Luka got there.
They were.
Kenny Thomas with us in studio.
I'm sorry. Hey, did you guys have problems with the parking garage this morning?
No.
I can't get in, man.
It's feisty. That parking garage.
I've never had a problem. What you laughing at in the booth,
maybe
bro?
these headphones giving you some problems too this morning.
Kenny's the king of intros.
You like that, huh? Hey, you got to bring that spice right away.
Got to get. So speaking of spice, it's
Barella.
That's Fridays. It's Fridays. It's a double dip global basketball tonight.
Yeah.
But breaking news just coming down. Kyrie tore his ACL.
Oh.
So
it looked bad. It's that left knee. I saw it this morning. It looked pretty bad.
It's an ACL tear.
Wow.
And so the Dallas Mavericks, right? You make this gigantic move, and you say our window is going to be AD, Kyrie. Well, AD gets hurt. Kyrie's done for extended period. Going to have a slow start to next season.
Yeah, he done.
If he, it might even be midseason until he gets back.
Yeah,
you try to make a big time move, and now I understand that fan base going, wait, you traded away Luka Doncic, and now what do we have to show for it?
I mean, it's one of those things that just happens to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
But where the Lakers are now second, what are they, fourth in the Western Conference, and then they were 10th before the Luka trade.
They're second now.
Okay, that's what I thought. And then the Lakers were 10th before the Luka trade. Now Dallas has a situation because you got Luka over here, 25 years old, balling out, and I heard you guys talking about Luka not playing defense. What? How many primetime players really play both ends of the floor on a consistent level? On a consistent basis.
Yeah, that's my thing with Doncic. Like, he gives you so much that you find the pieces around him to make up for
He's playing. I ain't gonna lie. He
gets in the way. And
he definitely gets in the passing. He gets in this. He's got a good IQ, so he's gonna pick off a pass. Now he might not get in front of you and strap up the best guards, but he's gonna play those passing lanes, and he's got good hands. Like, he reaches for the ball. He causes loose balls.
I totally agree, but like you said, JJ, this is where you put pieces around him. When I played with Keith Van Horn, when I was at the Sixers with Larry Brown coaching, I was the one that was guarding the better out of the 3-4, and hopefully if the 5-man wasn't huge like Shaq was sometimes, I would try to guard that dude, right? But at the same time, I was able to create mismatches for myself, and we took advantage of that because if Keith Van Horn had a smaller guy on him, he really wasn't posting up. But if I did, I took advantage of the situation with having a bigger guy on me because I could turn and face. And if I had a smaller guy on me, I can back him down and put him in the basket, right? So there's things that come with putting pieces around to where you shouldn't. There's I would say there's less than 1% of a guy that would want to guard the primary player on the other team, and he's the primary player on his own team. And the first person that comes to mind is Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
He was assassin, man. You know what I mean? So he was a guy that wanted to play both ends of the court. Michael Jordan, like I think he set the precedence to playing on both ends of the floor. So
maybe Miami LeBron.
Yeah, not now.
No, not
now. I mean, he's 41, man. He's on year 22, right, or something like that.
I remember that one series he went and strapped up MVP D Rose.
You look at playing both ways. You're right. There's a reason teams have defenders and guys in those different roles to step up and make up for it. But man, just you look at it for Dallas, they thought this was the combo. AD, Kyrie. Unfortunately, it happened. Kyrie tore his ACL. Now Dallas, they're sitting there. They're in 10th place right now. Yeah. Kyrie's done. AD, do you even bring him back this year at this point in time? And they fall out of the playoffs. They'll be potentially a lottery team. And you look at the Lakers, 38-21.
Yeah.
Won 6 in a row, 8-2 the last 10 games. They passed the Nuggets. They're sitting there in second place.
Yeah. Things happen. And Kyrie was the person that was going to make that team run. I mean, that's why I was high on that trade, and I think I'm still a little high on the Dallas Mavericks next year. I feel like with Kyrie, Klay Thompson's going to be Klay Thompson. You're going to get what you're going to get, right? Hopefully he shows up. But I feel like Klay still has a lot in him, but it's a matter of him being happy and being comfortable, right? And then you think about the Warriors. The Warriors were just in 11th, and now they're in 6th. And everybody's like, the Warriors are done. No, they have this guy called Steph Curry, who's a very dominant player, right? And then you have Jimmy Butler. It's going to be interesting to see how that whole dynamic plays out.
This trade deadline has been unlike any we've seen. You know, there's pieces that move, role players, rotation guys. You're looking for a shooter, looking for a defender. But to have 2 players move that change the trajectory of a team in season is crazy. A superstar level player, Luka Doncic. Jimmy Butler obviously reignited something else too in that Warriors team. And now we're sitting there having the legit conversation. Can the Lakers and Warriors meet up in the Western Conference Finals? Yes, they could.
Yeah.
They absolutely could.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And then you got the Kings that are playing some pretty good ball right now. But I feel like...
Sabonis, though, the hamstring.
He's out, man. Hamstrings are no joke. That's kind of like a groin to a certain extent. It's gonna take some time. But I feel like how you say his name?
Vucevic?
Yes, that's in.
Or no, Valanciunas.
Jonas
the
big dude that came from New Orleans, I think. I feel like he's a piece that's going to bring a whole different dynamic when it comes to the Kings. I think Del Christie's doing a pretty good job right now, but there's a lot of pieces that the Kings have, and it's going to be interesting to see how they gel together and how they play. With Monk at the point, it's interesting, man, because he's a scorer, and his mindset coming off the bench being a 6th man, his mindset is to score. But it's going to be interesting to see how that ball can move. Now, man, you got like 2 or 3 guys on a team now in the NBA to where they're the go-to guys, right? So I think LeBron and KD and those guys going to teams like Miami, like KD going to the Warriors and bringing that whole dynamic. Man, it's the NBA it's a different time.
Right now. Man. I know there's a lot of questions, but you look at the Western Conference, and there's some unknowns, like the Houston Rockets, but they're still going to be a playoff team.
Yeah,
they're 37-24.
Yeah.
OKC to me is old enough now. Like they had the playoff experience last year. Yeah, they don't have as much experience as Steph Curry and the Lakers, but
we'll see.
They're 50-11. Like I don't think they're just going to get rolled because they match LA or Golden
I
State.
get it. When you got Shea Alexander scoring 51 points against my Rockets, man, like come on, bro. And the Rockets are playing so good right now. OKC is a squad to where they have a bench that's pretty significant in coming in and helping determine the flow of the game. But
they play defense, which that does matter in the playoffs.
OKC, UFC, KFC. Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5.
All right, Shannon Sharp over there.
KFC, man. Did y'all see Ocho Cinco on First Take this morning, man?
Right, yep, right there.
Interesting.
Yeah, Ocho, well, Shea and Ocho, you definitely got that.
He's been begging Stephen A to get on there.
Their vibe.
Shea,
That's why they're on it this morning, because Stephen A's not there.
Oh man, Stephen A cannot be a politician, and I'm happy that he went on there with Good Morning America. George Papalapa, I can't say his last name.
Papalock and drop
Yeah,
it.
no,
yeah, close enough.
Yeah, but thank God he's not going to be a politician. He's a politician in sports.
I would not rule out anything in this world that we live in, man. It's going to be Stephen A.
Hey, I might as well run for governor.
Yes,
then.
you go for it.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes.
People are laughing
votes.
out there. Kenny Thomas for governor.
I do like the Lakers versus the Thunder though. I think the Lakers have a real good zone defense. I think they got a real good defense. I think they can.
You can't play zone against
the NBA.
OKC. Are you
They
kidding
will.
me?
They will. Have you seen the way that Lakers
Simmer down
defense is
now.
playing?
See, first off, people like you don't realize 3 seconds is still legit, but they just don't call it. you can't play zone and camp a guy in the middle. That big man would have to pick a side every time.
They play each other back to back here real soon.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, we're going to get a good dose.
Now, OKC's 10 games up, so they're going to be the number 1 seed.
Oh, that's a given.
Yeah, they're a given. But those matchups are going to have some fire to them, Lakers and Thunder. All right, we will get to Lobo basketball. Don't worry. I got one more thing I wanted to throw at you.
He said we will get to Lobo basketball.
We came in out, the Kyrie stuff off the top,
I'm just
ACL tear. So, Anthony Edwards, we saw what he did last year when the T-Wolves swept the Suns. And he was talking about Kevin Durant was his favorite player. KD is his guy.
Yeah.
And he said, anytime I play a game against Kevin Durant, I want to show him what's up. And he's averaging like 30 points per game against Kevin Durant, the Wolves and Suns matchup. Was there a guy that when you took the floor with that, whether it was like, I want to be on the floor with this guy, or someone that you had a matchup going, hey, I'm going to try to turn him into barbecue chicken?
Man, let me tell you something. In the NBA, I was really a 3, right? Mm-hmm. But I played 4 more at the power forward spot, and I played some 3. I used to guard guys at the 3 and the 4. Let me tell you something, man. I used to play against Chris Webber, Tim Duncan, KG. Like, I used to the Twin Towers with David Robinson and Tim Duncan. You think you got one beat because I was the quicker, smaller guy, and the next thing you know, you got the other one coming. I lick my chops and I get excited to play against big name guys. You know what I mean? Because this is a chance for me to make my mark. You know what I mean? Even more. I tried to take advantage of every situation that I could, right? Because think about it, man. I'm trying to put myself on the map going up against these guys, and people probably don't realize this, but I think my first year on my contract, my big contract in Philly, I averaged a double-double. I was on my way to be an all-star. And then next thing you know, the whole situation just started flip-flopping on me. People probably don't know this. I had 10 coaches in 11 years.
Sheesh.
And I had one in Houston. And just think about Philly, I had like 4. And then SAC, I had like 5, right? So my career was interesting. It was a little roller coaster the last 5 years, but hey, them checks were still coming though.
Checks were coming in.
How'd you feel after getting off on Kobe and Shaq? That's got to be on the list.
First off, I didn't ever get off on Kobe or Shaq, bro.
You had a double-double versus him.
Man, hey, I'm gonna break this down for you. I have one triple-double, and it was when I was on the Kings playing against the Lakers, and Luke Walton was guarding me. Just saying. That's the only triple-double I've ever had, man. I think I had like 18 and like 10 and 11 or something like that. Okay. I mean, the assist was 10. It wasn't 11.
You out-rebounded Shaq one game. I remember seeing it. It was the first time I met you. It was like, let me see what he did versus my Lakers. And then I saw you out-rebounded Shaq one game. I said, hold on, let me ask him about this.
Yeah, bro, that was an accident. Shaq wasn't on the floor half to get me out right. Hey, let me tell you guys a story real quick. So I was in Houston, and Shaq was there, right? I mean, obviously we were playing against whatever team he was on. So there was a time Shaq was right there. Next thing you know, he let me lay it up. And then he comes down the court, and I was like, he made a comment, and he goes, yo, I let you, I like you, right? I let you lay that up. And I was like, hey, big fella, thank you. I appreciate that. And it was the same year that he flipped Charles Barkley, my rookie year. And then I never saw Charles again because he tore his knee up unless I see him in the summer. But, man, I was just there. Shaq, come on, man. I'm like the size of one leg. And I will leave you guys with this, with the Shaq thing. Yo, I was one of the biggest groupies in the NBA ever. I used to buy jerseys of the opposite team, like Tim Duncan, Shaq. I have their jersey. They signed jerseys for me. Yeah. And then I have Shaq's 2 shoes, size 22. He gave me his shoes and he signed them.
That's tough.
So I have all this stuff in California in my house. So yeah, it's huge, man. 2 of mine, yeah. And I wear 15s. Yeah.
Kenny Thomas with us. When we come back on the other side, we'll talk about the Lobos trying to clinch a share of a regular season title and just what that means to be a regular season champ. They step along the way looking for that postseason success. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal is...
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Of the regular season title, have an opportunity to win it outright with 2 wins this week. It'd be 17-3 in this first year of 20 games in the Mountain West schedule. True round robin, and the Lobos will be the first time since 2013 they could call themselves regular season champs. JJ Buck joined by Kenny Thomas in studio this morning. Zay holding it down as the Lobos will tip off against Nevada at 7 p.m. Of course, Lobos Live with Kenny Thomas post-game. Not too bad. That's 7 p.m. tip-off. We'll take it, right?
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Like, it's not. Hey, if we can get an hour, 2 hours, that's awesome. It's not like 8 or 9. There was a lot of 9 o'clock games this year.
Oh, what? TV?
Yeah.
Mountain West playing 9 o'clock. Got an 8 o'clock game Friday, but it's Friday night.
Yeah.
We can have some fun, staying up.
And
maybe partying with the outright conference championship. Just you're starting there first, right? It's a step. But to me, I know I've talked to coaches and players, and yeah, they give out the automatic bid in the conference tournament. But there is something special when you beat all your conference foes. You're playing them, January, February into March.
Mm-hmm.
When you get that outright conference championship, that's an impressive thing.
Man, it's huge. Obviously, that's one of the goals that the players have said. I mean, I think BA was on with Hunter and Robert. Hunter and Robert. I want to say the game before when he played a few minutes, they had him on after coach, and that was one of the things. Conference tournament, regular season, and then conference tournament, and get into the NCAA. It's very unique how this team has grown, and this Lobo team has grown so significantly from the standpoint of they've been battling on the defensive side first, because they can have a tendency to not score for 3-4 minutes at a time sometimes, right? That's a part of the game, but you can impact the game when you're eliminating second chance points, getting 50-50 balls, playing passing lanes, which they've been great. I love the lineup with Dant, True, and CJ, because I feel like True and CJ complement Dant, especially on the defensive side, and I feel like they're big bodies and they're bullies, and they're determined to play on the defensive side. Obviously, when True scores in double figures, he's a different kind of cat, right? Because he's being aggressive. But when the Lobos are coming downhill, man, going on the road, you gotta attack, and you got a Reno team, Nevada team that is actually I think they're 11 and something like that. I want to say like 11-3 or 4 at home right now. Mm-hmm. So they're playing some pretty good ball, even though they're 8-10 in conference right now. So you can't go in there thinking, hey, we're gonna go in there and just win. I think it's gonna be a dogfight.
Yeah, I think Saturday against Air Force, that's all right. You should beat that team by double digits at home. Yeah, that's what should happen tonight. The Lobos, the 1.5 point favorites.
That's it.
Yeah, they were actually underdogs a little bit this morning.
What?
1.5 point dogs when we started the show.
Unreal.
So people were listening, were like, "Oh, we gotta go put some money on the Lobos," and that line flipped. So now they're 1.5 point favorites. But it's what you said. It's the style. Yeah. I think the Lobos are better than Nevada.
Yeah,
I think they can win this game, 6 to 8 point range, and then who knows at the end, maybe you get a couple, push it to double digits. But it starts there with that defense, because the one thing with Nevada, you saw it in the first matchup, they scored 37 points in the first half.
Yeah.
Lobos defense wasn't quite there. Nelly had to save them at the end. Yeah. But you have moments like that throughout the season where you get one of those games. But we know Nevada, they play at the slowest tempo of any team in the Mountain West. So I want to start there. Is how important it is to try to create some steals against a team that really just wants to slow it down, so you can try to speed them up.
I think it's a matter of mixing it up, and I think Pitino's done a great job. He's pressed during the game. He picked up full court. It's a matter of even maybe going 2-3 zone to where you don't allow them to get too comfortable. And I feel like Pitino's going to match it up. I mean, do different changes and throw some different things out there. But I really feel like the bench for the Lobos is going to be a key factor, especially being on the road. They have 8 to 10 guys that can actually come out and play some pretty good ball, especially starting on the defensive side. Everybody, I feel like people know their role. They know their roles now. And if you don't, you better go in there and talk to the coach and find out.
Well, you're probably not getting any minutes if you don't know your role at this point.
Yeah, right. And it's a matter of how can you contribute to the team, and you can do that on the defensive end and coming in. And then I think the offense is going to come because I feel like Pitino gives these guys a lot of freedom. Amzil coming back is going to be crucial. He's probably still hurt. That plantar fasciitis isn't going anywhere. Phillip and Jovan are going to have to come in and contribute. I feel like Jovan plays very, very, very smart from the standpoint if he doesn't have anything, he'll give it right back to Dent, and he goes and sets a screen. I love it when Dent is calling pick and rolls, hey, Nelly, come get me. That's the best play in basketball because you can't guard it. Somebody's going to be open, and the way that the Lobos are playing right now, I feel like they'll be fine.
Yeah, the one team that you have the question against, it's the Aztecs, just in terms of how they take you out of the offense. This Nevada team, they can't pressure you like that. They don't have those athletes, but they're going to just try to pack the paint.
Yeah.
And when you have a team that's going to sit back, hitting some threes would be nice. But what are some things you can do that outside of just the pick and roll in terms of to get a big open? Like running Nelly off a baseline screen, right?
Yeah.
As just to get him the ball. Because I think that's one of the things that really stood out in the Aztec game is, Nelly would go to post up. The Aztecs, they're athletic enough. They push you away from the basket. He doesn't do much. But the things you can do outside of the high pick and roll to just get a big in space to try to get him the ball.
Well, the high pick and roll is, I think, is crucial because teams are starting to trap Dent. They got to get the ball out of Dent's hands, right? So what does that do? It's going to open up Nelly rolling to the basket. There was 1 or 2 plays last game to where Dent was trying to find guys, and guys weren't anticipating, keeping their eye on him because you never know when a guard's going to pass you the ball, right? You just always got to be ready. I feel like that's going to open up. When Nelly did not, before Air Force, the San Diego State game, there was a little bit of struggling there, and I feel like they came out in the second half and got him going a little bit. They got to get the big fella going, and he needs to do his part as well, which he has been, by crashing the boards. He's been great on the offensive rebounds, and I feel like he's going to be that guy that's going to impact the game. He's the biggest big in the league right now in my eyes, and he just needs to continue to come out and play that way.
7 p.m. tonight, of course, after the game over on News Radio, KKOB, Lobos Live. Kenny Thomas, you guys breaking it down, taking calls, texts, all the stuff. And I know it's a busy time, too.
Yeah.
Kenny Thomas, NBA on the socials. You got a lot of stuff popping.
Oh, my goodness. I got to give love to a man that I just met. He will actually be on the show this coming Friday. I'm having the AD, Fernando Lovo, on.
Yep.
After after he presents them with this regular season conference championship at home in the pit, I will be at the game on Friday as well. It's been great, man. I've really been enjoying doing the show. My last show, I had Michael Cooper on. I had Coach Dave P on. I'm looking at bringing on some other celebrities and different things like that. But I have my partnership with the county. Every second and fourth Thursday of every month, I go live at 11:30 Mountain Standard Time on my Instagram Live, Kenny Thomas NBA, to promote the different resources that the county has with Dr. Catherine Grill, who's a mental health doctor. We partnered up with the county and the Department of Health. We have some video series that are out right now talking about different subjects that they want us to put out there. Yeah, man, I'm having fun. Just came back from LA when I was gone. Went out to LA to Manhattan Beach to record some more videos for the Department of Health. Man, I have a lot going on. This is probably a sore subject right now, but looks like I just became the ambassador for APD, Albuquerque Police Department.
Okay.
So just trying to bring awareness, man.
Doing a lot for the community.
Albuquerque Community Safety, I've done some stuff with them. APS, I've done some stuff with them because of the county. Man, I'm just trying to evolve, and you know me, man. I'm always giving back to the community. I got some basketball tournaments coming up, Cinco de Mayo, Memorial Day weekend. Cinco de Mayo is with the city of Rio Rancho. Memorial Day weekend is my biggest tournament. Last year we had 250 teams. This year I have 300 teams.
Oof.
So, yeah, and then after Christmas, I have a tournament the weekend after Christmas, man. So
always going.
Yeah. Man, there isn't anything I don't do. People are like, do you sleep? No.
Nope.
But I do have a meeting with the Heritage Group next Tuesday about my wines getting in their properties. And hey, if you haven't had the KT wines, it's in Albertsons right now, and it's also in the pit. So the last home game, you can check that out up there on the suite level.
Do they sell it? Will they be selling it tonight too at the women's game?
Yeah. It's at every event. Yeah, women's games. Up
there in the suites, KT.
Check it out. KT Legacy Wines. It's on the menu.
It's on the menu. Order it up. Enjoy it tonight. Double dose Lobo basketball. And, of course, Lobo's Live with Kenny Thomas after the game over on News Radio KKOB. Talk to you Friday, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
So we're picking up news stations.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Everguard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Everguard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for others.
Beating Nevada and Steve Alford and Craig Neal also prevent Steve Alford from getting his 700th career win in his head coaching career against the Lobos. Funny how things work out, and I mentioned it. I don't believe in the total magic that Symbieta does at times when it comes to sports and all this, but this season, it's kind of how it played out. The fact that you had game number 1,000 in the pit, and it was happened to be Steve Alford and Craig Neal in Nevada. Mm-hmm. And then you look at this game, and it's an opportunity for Steve Alford, and missed it last time out. UNLV beat Nevada, but in Reno, he's looking for number 700. It's the Lobos that are showing up, looking to clinch a share of Mountain West regular season title, which will be their first one since 2013. It's huge, man. And if you can win out at the number one seed in conference tournament, avoid a bad loss on your resume, because these would be the bad losses. So here's the thing. Yes, it's a quad one opportunity for the Lobos, but they're not in a position where they can lose to anyone that's not in the top five and you talk it off. Now, you're like, well, how can it be a quad one win but a bad loss? Well, any loss right now before Las Vegas is bad for the Lobos, because they're a team that's on the 9 line. When Jerry Palman's updated bracket this morning, that's the one to lean on, because we have Jerry Palm Thursday mornings at 8:30, so we can directly ask him questions about his bracket. And the Lobos, ceiling is the 7. But I think even if they win out, you have to have so much happen around you. You have to look at all those teams on the 7 line, right? And you have Maryland, UCLA, St. Mary's, Louisville. Does one of those teams slide? But then you look at the teams on the 8 line, and it's Creighton, Vanderbilt, Illinois, BYU. Do those teams jump up? And then you're still behind those squads. The 9 line right now, Utah State, New Mexico, Zags, UConn. So it's the movement within your seed lines that you're looking at. It's not just, the Lobos went out, they're going to be a 6 seed for sure. No, it's the movement of everyone else, all those other teams in and around you on the seeding lines. Those are the resumes you're looking at. Those are the teams that will jump ahead of you or fall behind you. And for New Mexico, I believe they win tonight. They beat UNLV. They go into Vegas, win game 1, and they're sitting there in the semifinals of the Mountain West tournament against whoever it may be, the 4-5 matchup. That could be any of Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, Utah State. Any combination of that staring at you on that semifinal day, and you go from there. But I think the Lobos are pretty much locked into the 8-9 game. And what does that mean? Well, it means probably going to be an underdog in round 1. Tough game. And then if you get through it, you're playing a 1 seed. But that's the NCAA tournament. There's not easy games unless you are a higher seed. It, quote unquote, gets an easier matchup. But the path, it's going to involve beating a good basketball team in round 1, and then seeing a number 1 or potentially a number 2. Because if the Lobos do have a little bit of a slip off, what would that mean? Well, maybe losing one of the games this week, losing that Friday to the Mountain West tournament, then there's a chance they're a 10 seed. And if you're in the 10-7 matchup, we just went through the 7s, and then the 2 seeds, where you're looking at a group right now, Alabama, Florida, Michigan State, Wisconsin. That's going to be battling with Purdue, Michigan, St. John's, and Texas A&M, the 3 seeds. I think there's pretty much 3 number 1 seeds that are pretty much locked up. Duke, Houston, and Auburn seem to be a little bit of a step ahead of everyone when it comes to the 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. But you have Tennessee right there. Could we? The SEC, that race, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida. Big Ten wants to throw their hat in there with Michigan State, Wisconsin. But that's kind of what you're looking at right now when it comes to Lobo basketball. The ceiling, the floor. I don't think they're going to be in a situation where it's worst case scenario, where they lose both these games. Maybe they just win 1 game in Las Vegas, then you're talking about 10, maybe 11 seed line. You are. And you're talking about true bubble territory, where then you're talking about, all right, the last 4 in situations. Xavier, Baylor, Boise State, Arkansas playing in the first 4. The other 11 seeds in that area, when you're looking at Oklahoma, VCU, Lobos beat VCU this season in the pit. McNeese, UC San Diego, so some projected conference champions with McNeese and UC San Diego, but that's kind of the range we're looking at right now when it comes to the NCAA tournament. Late in the season, going for a conference championship, then turning your attention to the Mountain West tournament in Las Vegas, and we'll have you covered all week long. Of course, I'll be out there early with the women. Mountain West women's tournament starts on Sunday. The Lobo women won't be playing until Monday. They're locked in that 4 or 5 matchup. Are they going to be the 4? Are they going to be the 5? We shall see, but they're playing San Diego State. That's what's happening. That game will be Monday, 3 p.m. pregame, 3:30 p.m. tip-off, Monday, March 10th, to get the Mountain West tournament started on the women's side after the opening play on Sunday. And if the Lobo men do become conference champs, they have that number 1 seed, their tournament will start in Vegas on Thursday. They'll play the opener, which will be 1 p.m. Mountain Time tip-off, and they'll play the winner of the 8-9 game to get things going. Of course, you have all the women's action right here in the Sports Animal, the men over on News Radio KKOB, and then Symbieta will be out there the back half of the week doing the shows live, covering the men in the Mountain West Tournament. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal hotline and text line for you this morning. How you feeling? Lobos and Nevada tonight in Reno, and the Lobo women final home game of the regular season. Final regular season game hosting Air Force tonight at the Pit. Both games 7 p.m. And JJ Buck, Zay Johnson with you here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in Burquia. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Bring it back, your love.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
The Yeller
Scenarios 10-9. John mentioned, hey, the Lobos block up the number one seed if they win and can wrap the whole thing if San Jose State beats Colorado State as well. Well, sure. But, Colorado State is 15.5-point favorites at home. The Rams are playing really good basketball. I expect them to handle their business tonight at home. The Lobos against Nevada tonight, clinch at least a share of the regular season title and have the opportunity to get it outright against UNLV on Friday night. And tonight, UNLV is hosting San Diego State. The Aztecs, 3.5-point favorites on the road in Vegas. Wyoming at Fresno State. Boise State at Air Force. The other Tuesday night action on the men's side. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line. UNM and Nevada tonight. And we started off the show. Lobos, road dogs. 1.5-point underdogs. Now they're 1.5-point favorites. So if you jumped on it early, got the Lobos and the points, you should feel pretty good about this one tonight. Talking with Kenny Thomas about it, and he said, yes, this team, it's about creating offense off the defense, using your length, your athleticism, get some steals, speed up Nevada. They've led the slowest pace of anyone in the Mountain West Conference. They want to slow it down and then pack it in defensively. Well, they don't have the same kind of defenders as San Diego State, so even if they're packing the lane, it still provides opportunities to get Nelly Jr. Joseph the ball in the post, run those screens, and when a team like Nevada goes out there and tries to take away the drive, what do they want you to do? I want you to settle for threes. Take some threes, don't settle, still be in attack mode. There's plenty of things you can do to create space. Now, if they just leave you open the entire game, yeah, shoot those through this confidence. Hopefully you get in a rhythm and get going. But it starts defensively, getting up and down, points in transition. We know Lobos, fast break points, it matters. And for them, it's also not just the steal. It's playing defense, getting the rebound in that first pass out, running in transition against this Nevada team. Coming into this week, the Lobos were second in Division I when it comes to fast break points, 17.1 points per game behind Milwaukee. At the Horizon League, they are at 17.9 points per game. So we know who they are. We've watched it. Now they have adaptability, which has put themselves in this position to be a conference champ, to have an at-large resume, and then NCAA tournament, which try to assert your style in Reno tonight. Other than the big news this morning, Kyrie Irving, done for the season, torn ACL, suffered it last night, went down hard on a drive, did get up and hit the free throws, but then news comes out this morning, it is an ACL tear for Kyrie Irving. They're already without Anthony Davis. Yeah, the big trade, Luka to the Lakers, AD comes over, AD balling in his first game, gets hurt. The Mavericks are 32-20. So they're still 3.5 games in front of the Suns in 10th. But I think Dallas falls out. And then you could be looking at Phoenix being the 10th seed. But we saw last year what happened. They got into the playoffs, got swept by Minnesota. You know, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, they don't scare anybody.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's crazy that the Suns never figured it out. Yeah. I don't know exactly why that was.
Because in the NBA, the rotation matters. Because even when you think of the Miami Heat, right? And that's well, and so the Celtics did it first. There's KG, Paul Pierce. I don't think people think of Ray Allen as a superstar, but Ray Allen was on that team. The Celtics kind of came together, won a championship, and then the Heatles got together. LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. But it wasn't scrubs. Like, they had Ray Allen.
Yes.
They had Shane Battier. They had
Mike Miller,
like
Norris
legit
Cole,
rotation players.
Mario Chalmers.
And then, young guards that they hit on.
Yeah.
But there were legit NBA veterans around them. The problem with the Suns.
And Haslam.
Yeah, Udonis Haslam. The one consistent forever for the Heat.
Still there.
Well, the Suns, they went big three. They went Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. But they didn't have the rotation players. Like, they didn't have anyone else. Even if you have the stars, you have to have the depth. Why are the Celtics so good? Well, it's because they have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis and Derek White and Drew Holiday. So they're not all necessarily superstar level players.
That's why the Lakers contributors. That's why the Lakers are working. You got Reeves, which I think honestly might be playing himself into a different category. They got a lot of role players as well. Reeves, Gabe Vincent.
They made good moves before the Luka trade. Dorian Finney-Smith.
He's working
3-and-D player. Jared Vanderbilt, defender. Roy Hachimura, by the way, was a lottery pick for the Wizards.
Yeah, he's a baller.
So this was a dude that had a pretty high ceiling when he was drafted at Gonzaga. Like, those are legit rotation players. Oh, and then you just happen to drop in Luka with LeBron James, and you set in Austin Reeves, who is a good number 2 scorer, and now he's the number 3 scorer for this team when he gets back on the floor. Like, it works. But the Suns, they just never had that. It was like, all right, it's Royce O'Neal and DeAndre Ayton.
Yep.
Ayton has been underwhelming. That's why they moved. They tried to bring in Yusuf Nurkic to be kind of just that piece.
I was going to say Nurkic.
And they never hit on the rotation. So, it's Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, and you're like, oh, my gosh. Wow. However, you got to have confident players around your superstars. And they gave up too much when it came to Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal to do anything else. And I think we're seeing the movement in the NBA that it's kind of duos, and then you build your rotation.
Yeah, I think that's the better way to go. I mean, before the Heatles, that's kind of what it was. It's how the Lakers with Kobe and Pau Gasol were getting it done. The Heat with Dwayne Wade and Shaq.
You think of the Lakers, Shaq and Kobe and then the rotation players, Robert Horry, Derek Fisher. The Heatles were special because you had a GOAT of the generation.
Yeah.
And one of the most underrated players, Dwayne Wade. But they had the rotational pieces. They had Ray Allen, no scrub. Shane Battier, excellent defender.
Yeah.
And the Suns could never figure that out. Which is why they're on the outside looking. We got Lobo Hoops for you tonight right here on these Sports Animals. 6:30 pregame, 7 p.m. tip-off. Lobo women and Air Force at the pit. Viet Cumber trying to become a record holder. Lobo men over on News Radio KKOB. They appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
So we'll talk tomorrow. We'll break down all the Lobo hoops. Got Colin Cowherd coming up next. Jim Rome following that. 2 men on this afternoon at 4, everybody. And you, Adrian. Met her with peace and love. Have a great day.
Sub located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gala Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies.